September of 1977, the writer Philip K. Dick, creator of Minority Report, Blade Runner, and Total Recall, addressed an audience of fans in Metz, France. They expected a talk about science fiction, but his lecture explored religion and philosophy as well. To him, all three subjects were deeply interconnected.
The title of my address is, If You Find This World Bad, You Should See Some of the Others. The subject of this speech is a topic which has been discovered recently and which may not exist at all. I may be talking about something that does not exist. Therefore, I'm free to say everything or nothing. We are living in a computer-programmed reality, and the only clue we have to it is when some variable is changed and some alteration in our reality occurs.
Philip K. Dick's belief that we were living in a digitally created artificial world sounded like madness in 1977. But then, in 1999, The Matrix introduced simulation theory to the wider world. In the years since the film, this idea has begun to be taken seriously as more than science fiction. It is fiercely debated online and in real life, in classrooms, laboratories, design studios, and courtrooms.
So the idea...
What will the future be like? I will guarantee 50 years from now, you will have robotic people, androids, walking down the street next to you, and you will never know it.
No one knows what the true form of Jinn is, or even if they have one, because smokeless fire is constantly changing, just like plasma could constantly change. And this may be the real root of their tremendous shape-shifting ability.
Our eyes cannot see the reality of energy. Can we see these waves being bombarded? Our radio waves right now, our internet, our phone waves. They're coming through the walls here. There's a type of energy on the spectrum.
Another aspect pointing to plasma might be the fact that when some people perceive the Jinn, especially in shadow people form, they have a blue glow around them. And could this be caused by a plasma condition or some sort of change in electromagnetic energy that might be affected by plasma?
So, in my humble opinion, and this is the position of many classical scholars, there is no original structure of the Jinn.
In Islamic belief,
is that scary? Take your time. If I was going to bed, like I said, I was so afraid that I would make myself stay up 2 or 3 days, to make myself so tired that when I went to bed, I just went to sleep and I had no clue what was going on around me.
I don't know what it is, but I feel afraid of it at times.
That has a very desired, deliberate effect from the standpoint of Jinn. The Jinn feed off human energy, and if they can't get the very best vital life force, which is blood, and the spilling of blood generates a tremendous amount of force, then the next best thing is to vampirize the life force through fear. Because when we are suddenly afraid, we put out an incredible rush of adrenaline. It's the fight or flight syndrome. And I believe that that's what they vampirize. It's much easier to take the life force off human beings when they're in a state of fear.
in Islamic belief, Jinn are often associated with the forms of snakes and dogs. Is it just a coincidence that in Genesis 3, it is written that a snake of all things was the creature that appeared in the Garden of Eden to tempt Eve? Or could this deceptive reptile have been a cunning jinn, masquerading in the body of a serpent?
The Jinn do not have a single purpose in mind, and we have to realize that they occupy the planet along with us, and they are like us in terms of our dispositions. Some of them are good, some of them are neutral, some of them are negative and hostile, troublemakers, and there are probably a lot of them just like human beings that have a little bit of both in them.
There's a category of jinn that typically appears in the form of animals. This is the first category. And two animals in particular the jinns love to appear in, but sometimes there are other animals. And the two main animals that the jinns love to appear in are snakes and dogs.
But it seems that we're dealing with the negative end of the spectrum when it comes to our encounters with jinn.
The second category is some are yatiruna fil hawa. They are flying around in the skies. And perhaps those types of jinns have almost nothing to do with us, perhaps.
The hostile ones seem to be intent on paying us back or punishing us for taking their place on the planet. That we became the dominant species on the planet, and they got pushed out to an alternate reality. And some of them want that back. They want their turf back.
And then the third type of jinn is they come and they go. This is the one that seems to want to irritate us, want to frighten us, want to come into our lives.